Hey everyone, it's Jedi of LEGO here, and I want to tell you how this little model inspired an obsession to make me build every playscale T-47 Snowspeeder that LEGO have produced. Now, this was the first Snowspeeder that LEGO produced back in 1999. It is set number 7130, and a lot of people point to the colour scheme here, saying that this is closest to the original from the film with the grey. But alas, it was the last of the greys that they produced. Now, the story behind this is I found this brick in a box of LEGO that I had at my school, and a quick Google Lens search told me it was from this. A further search with the help of some of the kids allowed me to find 80% of the pieces, and the project was born. And I even found the two printed pieces for the air vents, and I built the very first Snowspeeder that LEGO produced. And it sparked off my idea to try and find out how many LEGO had built and could I produce them all. This to me, although a little chunky at the back, especially with the grappling hook, is still a classic and I really like it. It is a bit chunky and blocky, but we can live with that. So what was next? Next up was this model. You had to wait 5 years for this model. This was set number 4500 and it came out in 2004. And it was more the classic white colours that we see from the build. And we had elements of these brown in it, which I'm not quite sure go. I was able to get most of this set 99% complete on eBay. It does have some nice printed bricks, and we start to see the grappling hook mechanism being added properly. The guns had changed, but we were to see, as you'll find out, that this design disappeared pretty quickly. But a nice model all the same. I would say it was a shame we started to lose the printing of the bigger square bricks because I liked them from the first model, and we less had a slope for a brick, and we had this piece which became standard throughout, although this was the last set that came with the printed nose cone. I've got a big bugbear about stickers. I much prefer the printed ones. I did have a whiter one that was less sun damaged, however I like the printed bricks. Now, it was another 3 years before in 2007 we got LEGO 7 Treble 6, which came with not a set on its own. This was part of a mini Hoth Rebel Base. So if you're searching on LEGO to find these models, sometimes you have to search the word Hoth instead of Snowspeeder, because the Snowspeeders were part of a larger set. Now, we lost a lot of the orange for this set, but what we did gain was we're starting to get the grappling hook tool to be more realistic, and the mechanism for opening up for Luke and Dax is much better. We returned to these types of pieces for the guns, and this was starting to be the regular piece for this type of gun. Nose piece should have a sticker, but as I was building this off eBay, 80% complete, I had my own, which doesn't have a sticker. But all the same, it's a nice looking kit. Again, next up in 2010, we had set 8089, which wasn't again a Snowspeeder on its own. It was part of the Hoth Wampa Cave. So I had to build the Hoth Wampa Cave, oblique with Wampa, which was hard to find on eBay, but I did get it. I love this set because of the Luke hanging upside down and the lightsaber stuck in the ice. Anyway, back to the Snowspeeder. The Snowspeeder changed design. It's a slightly smaller design, than the other sets that preceded it and followed it because of the types of sloping plates that they use in the wings. The grappling hook still has nice detail. We're back to having the orange in it this time, and it's a set I like because it is a really simple build, and in a future video I'm going to show you a lot of the mocks I made of the T47 and why, and a lot of the time this is the design that I use to build this. But a brilliant design nonetheless, and a fantastic little set that came with the Hoth Wampa Cave. Next we had 75014, which came out as part of a smaller set called Battle of Hoth. Again, not a Snowspeeder set on its own. And strangely, in this set we're starting to get red bricks, which we've never seen before. But it is sticking to the slightly smaller design of the one before. So they had decided to go smaller, still a nice detail with the grappling hook and with the lid to open up. A nice design, but nothing special and nothing upgraded as of yet. Next up, from 2014, we got set number 75049. So we're back to having sets where the Snowspeeder is a set in its own right, and it's a slightly bigger design again. They've changed the brick plates that they're using in the wings, and it makes it a slightly larger design. My build here, I tried to stay as original as possible, but it was a kind of a spare parts build, so it is maybe just missing a couple of actual bricks. But what we do have for the first time is the classic LEGO shooters on the underside of the ship. But a nice build, and returning to the slightly bigger design was a good thing in my opinion. Now in 2016 we returned to getting a Snowspeeder as part of a larger set, and this was a larger set, which does split opinion. This is 75098 Assault on Hoth, but this is my favourite of all the Snowspeeders. I think it's the best build, with the best wings, the best engines. It's got lovely printed bricks under the air brakes. I love this build, it is my favourite, and when I'm building mocks and I have the bricks, this is the one I go for. It does have the shooters underneath as well. I'll need to put some lasers in them. But yeah, this is my favourite build. The grappling hook and the firing mechanism at the back are the best in my opinion, and a couple of great minifigures inside. I managed to find the printed brick for this one, maybe because it was a larger, more expensive set. They went back to printed bricks, and they used the orange again because we'd had a couple of sets where we veered away from having the orange and went to greys and blacks. But this is my favourite. Now, something a bit different from the T47 range, because instead of a Snowspeeder, in 2018 they brought out a Sandspeeder with set number 75204. Now this does not actually appear in any of the movies or cartoons, but a lot of fans agree that this is based on one of the Kenner models from the 80s, The Force Continues, and LEGO doing kind of what Kenner did and releasing some sets that are just from pure imagination. Now because this is a Sandspeeder, there is no grappling hook on the back, just a gun. We have a similar mechanism for going in and out of the speeder, but we have two fantastic and very rare pilot minifigures. So this set alone is worth having for that. Back to a sticker on the front, unfortunately, but it is a good one for making up a mock if you have these ones. But yes, I like the Sandspeeder, it is a nice design. Now we returned to proper Snowspeeders for a 20th anniversary set. This is 75259 from 2019, and this was the 20th anniversary set, as I said. We were back to a design very similar to the Assault on Hoth design, and the Sandspeeder mechanism for opening up and seeing inside, pretty similar again. I used one of the pilots as a spare somewhere else for another build, but a very nice design. This one came with a Lando Calrissian, which was quite good to have for the collection, and some nice stickers, although I prefer printed bricks, but a nice design nonetheless, so much so that I actually own two of them, one for my Hoth display. We can't forget we've also had the little 4 Plus model, which is nice and a wee bit of fun for the pilot and the microfighter as well. Again, fun just for having the pilots. Then in 2025 we got 75414. It is based on a T-47. This is the force burner from the Rebuild the Galaxy, so quite the opposite of a Snowspeeder. It's built on flames and heat, and we have this new cockpit lid, which I have only ever seen on this model. It is a nice design, and I'm just going to put the camera down just now because I'm going to show you something else I like with this design. The person who sits in the back is actually sitting in a speeder which can come out and fly away. Now, I bought this without figures because I wasn't too bothered with figures. I was on my T-47 spree, and so that's why it doesn't have the figures. I do like it went back to having the singular brick instead of the nose cone, although we were on a sticker, but a nice build nonetheless. Now, I hope you liked my rundown of all the playscale T-47s and Snowspeeders that LEGO have produced. I am aware there is a UCS model, but I missed it when it came out, and it is very expensive to get, although I have seen some fake LEGO ones that I might get just for the sake of it. But this one inspired something else, and after having spent a few months building all these T-47s, I loved the build so much, I decided to build my own mocks. So tune into a future video where you see the designs I used for the T-47 and why the T-47 is the perfect vehicle to design your own ships for the Star Wars LEGO universe. I'm Jedi of LEGO. May the Force be with you.